So in third, we should be this time talking about the use case of TEs in the context of MEV, but you definitely have expertise within various other use cases where TE can play the role that we should be having with you in other relation. Oana, let's leave it yours.
Thanks so much for the introduction. So yeah, my talk today is about doing partial block building with TEs. And before I start, just to make sure that we are all on the same page, if this is the first time you're hearing about TE, so it stands for Trusted Execution Environment, and it's a hardware enclave that whose memory is encrypted to prevent anyone from tampering with its data and code, and that ensures confidentiality and execution integrity. Besides that, in association with the TEs, we have this remote attestation, which allows an enclave to prove its authenticity to a third party. Okay, so at Automata, we use these for a number of use cases. We try to make it easier for people to deploy TE applications for blockchains, and we have a TE ABS that brings crypto-economic security to the TE. And one application of that is the multi-prover. We do open source attestation libraries. We have this thing called TE compile for testable builds, our flavor of reproducible builds, and we also do block builder, and lastly MEV BooTEE, which is a partial block building approach. And MEV BooTEE was born at the Hacker House. It was part of the first round of research fellowships project EigenLayer, and I was assisted doing this work by Kaido, so kudos to him. Okay, so before we jump into what MEV BooTEE does, we have to talk about PBS, Proposer Builder Separation. So since Ethereum started using proof of stake, there is a proposer that's being chosen every 12 seconds to build a block. And there are two main issues associated with this. One is that this proposer has complete monopoly over what happens in the 12-second slot. Like it can decide to censorship transactions or do whatever they want. And the other issue is that not all proposers can build blocks as effectively, and there's a discrepancy between like some rewards that proposer who is able to build a good block might get compared to one that doesn't have access to a lot of order flow. So because of this, PBS was introduced, and PBS basically separates the ones who produce the blocks, namely the builder, and the proposer is the one who proposed them. And the de facto implementation of PBS today is Flashbot's MEV Boost, which works roughly like this. So we have a bunch of block builders who will submit their block to a relayer, or multiple relayers. There are more relayers actually involved, but for simplicity, there's only one on the diagram. And then the block proposer runs this sidecar, MEV Boost, and this MEV Boost will select the most profitable block from all the relayers and give it to the proposer. Here, most profitable means the one with the highest value, usually. I mean, always. And actually, the proposer that then MEV Boost don't see the actual block, they only see the header, but for simplicity, I'll refer it as in the block. Okay, and there are some concerning trends in regards to what's happening now, because as it turns out, MEV Boost is very popular. Like roughly 90% of the block proposers choose to use MEV Boost, and the MEV Boost blocks are in the vast majority built by two builders. Like more than 90% of the blocks are built by them. And that's concerning, because if these builders decide to not include your transaction, then you're probably going to wait a long time before your transaction gets included. So it's very bad for censorship resistance. So what if instead we did partial block building? And partial block building means that we allow both the builders and the proposers to be involved in the creation of the block. So the builder will still propose the top of the block, which is usually very MEV rich, but we allow the proposers to also demand the inclusion of certain transactions in the rest of the block. And this has the effect of increasing decentralization and censorship resistance. The only problem is now how do we combine the TOB and the ROB? And before I get to that, I would like to also talk about the relayer. So now there is this intermediary in the PBS scheme that both the builder and the proposer have to trust. The builder has to trust the relayer to not unbundle their block and still the MEV, and the proposer has to trust the relayer to actually select a block that's advantageous for them. And in practice, there's again two relayers that relay most of the blocks. Do know that the yellow and the green belong to the same entity, Bloxrock. So actually, in practice, not everyone can be a relayer. Like only the relayers with good reputation would be selected, and this again increases centralization and also raises the expectations that the relayers must be trusted, and we don't really want that in Ethereum. So the idea behind MEV BooTEE is very, very simple. Like we want to enable the proposers to demand the inclusion of their transactions, like to contribute to the block building process, and we also try to get rid of the trusted entity, the relayer from the scheme. In order to do that, we use a TE. So there are three designs of MEV BooTEE. One is the TE assembler, which basically replaces the relayer with this entity called TE assembler, and the other two basically move the TE, place the TE either on the builder or on the proposer side to actually get rid of the relayer or like the intermediary entirely, because even today like relayers don't get any benefits actually from being a relayer. So this is the scheme of the assembler. So we have the proposer and the builders. So all the builders will submit the TOBs to the TE assembler. The proposer will submit the ROB, and the TE assembler will select the most profitable TOB and will add the ROB, and tada, we have the block. So actually, if let's say the proposer didn't submit the ROB, this is basically MEV boost, just that now the relay actually runs inside the TE, and as a TE enjoyer, I would say this is by default more secure. Okay, and for the builder side, TE8, we have all these builders that now have this TE8 that runs inside them, and the proposer will send the ROB to all of them, and then each builder's TE8 will build a block using the builder's TOB and the proposer's ROB, and this will be relayed to the proposer, and the proposer will again select the one that's most profitable. And because the TE8 runs inside the TE, the proposer can be sure that the TE8 will indeed include the desired ROB in the block. And lastly, for the proposer side TE, the proposer runs the TE, and all the builders will submit their TOBs to the TE8, and the proposer TE8 will select the most profitable TOB and add the ROB, and again we have the block, and builders can be assured that the TE8 will not abandon the block, so everyone is happy. And lastly, I would like to talk about how MEV BooTEE can be extended to support pre-confs. So pre-confs is short for pre-confirmations, and it's these credible commitments that actually a transaction will be included before finality actually happens. And it's a very hot topic, especially in the context of base rollup or rollups, because base rollups will use Ethereum as a sequencing layer. So because a block only happens every 12 seconds, these rollups don't have the fast feedback that, hey, the transaction is included. So in order to do that, we want to add this pre-confirmation such that this rollup can offer early guarantees that the transactions will be included and improve the user experience. So pre-confs can be added to all MEV BooTEE schemes, but here I'm showing how it can be added to the TE assembler. So again, we have the proposer and the builders who do what they did before, but then we also have the users which can directly submit their transactions to the TE assembler, and if the TE assembler decides to pre-confirm them, then these pre-confs will also be added to the block that's built by the TE assembler. And that's pretty much it. To recap, current PBS implementation poses centralization and censorship concerns, because proposers have to choose between getting good rewards or actually proposing the blocks themselves. So we want to do partial block building in order to redistribute some of the power back to the proposers, and in this way improving the decentralization and censorship resistance. And the proposed solution, MEV BooTEE, uses TEs to do this, using MEV BooTEE we can also do pre-confs. That's it for me. If there are any questions.